This John Lothian news video is sponsored by financial markets have taken a beating by legislators, regulators, and in the press over the past several years. But Steve Grob of Fidessa says that much of the criticism is unfounded. John Lothian News spoke with him about his defense of the financial industry.
One of the things that I think sometimes people don't always understand is that the idea that there's a real economy on one side and a financial economy that's separate isn't really valid. And the idea that the finance economy has been sent to the back of the classroom because it's been beating up on the real economy is equally untrue. Because the fact is that finance is inextricably combined with the real economy. It enables governments to govern, schools, hospitals to be built, etc., and all of us to have mortgages and pensions and so like. And so if there is something wrong with finance, then maybe that's asking a broader question of society as a whole. And you can see how, pre-Lehman, everyone was benefiting from cheaper holidays, buy-to-let, everything else. So I think it's very easy just to point at finance and say they're the bad guys. The idea that if you break the law, whatever industry you're in, you should be punished. So I'm not trying to condone some of the wrongful behavior of the past. But again, you don't have to look too far outside of the finance industry to see similar things. Just look at the maritime and ecosystem of the Gulf of Mexico and what BP did to that. And you see, these examples are everywhere. The complexity of this industry and the level of change is probably greater than it's ever been. The level of trust in it is the lowest it's ever been. And I think one of the challenges for the finance industry globally is to restore that trust. And that's definitely a long journey and requires a large amount of education. But I think what you're starting to see as well is continued regulation, which is getting more and more prescriptive. And I'm not sure that's actually helping, because at the end of the day, that's probably just driving up costs for everybody. The idea is that those people are going to be responsible for restoring trust in markets. But there's also some very exciting technologies that they'll bring to market, social media, together with some of the really amazing graphical interfaces that we're seeing now that enable people to process these huge amounts of data far more efficiently. So I think for them, it's a great opportunity, but it's also a very significant responsibility. And if you think about it, you look at the growth in structured and unstructured information, and yet we're still looking at in something that hasn't changed since 1970, which is called a spreadsheet. And that simply has to change.